It's day 11 of 14 days thinking about Anne Boleyn. They were thinking about the birth and baptism of Elizabeth I. As we said yesterday, Anne must have become pregnant at least in the November of 1532. You will have known by the January around their wedding, but they don't tell anybody for a while. They keep it secret for as long as they can. George, her brother, is supposed to go and let Francis I know. He doesn't do that till March. Chapuis isn't reporting on it until March, so she's probably around 4 months before it's really being mentioned by people. She was very busy, as we know. When she was around 6 months, she had her coronation. That would have been a lot on her, and apparently towards the end of her pregnancy she wasn't doing so well. It was quite a difficult last trimester, and supposedly, this is something Eric Ives said, but I haven't gone back and checked his original source, which I'd like to do because it's quite a shocking one. Apparently Henry had said he would almost welcome miscarriage at this point if it means it would spare Anne's life. So at this point he genuinely seems to care more about Anne than a baby, which is not something you expect from Henry VIII. But like I say, that's come from a secondary source, so I'll have to check one out in the future. So she goes off for her confinement in August, but it's only 10 days before Elizabeth is born. Traditionally, women should be taking their chamber 4 to 6 weeks before the anticipated birth, going off to a special suite of rooms created just for this. And I've talked in detail quite a bit before when we talked about the birth of Mary I, sort of what those rooms might look like, but essentially very dark, very warm, only one window open. Obviously this is August, so it is going to be hot in there. Just beds in there really for Anne and her ladies, and there wouldn't have been any men in there at all. Anyway, the fact that Elizabeth was only born 10 days after her entering means either she was born prematurely, it means they miscalculated the dates, or they were maybe kind of lying about when she was conceived. Either way, she was born on the 7th of September 1533 between 3 and 4 p.m. in the afternoon. While she was a girl, we've got that old trope of the labour was supposedly easy. I hate it when people say that. What is an easy labour? It was straightforward, at least. No complications that we know of. Elizabeth was born healthy, so you've got that hope that heirs will follow. Or sons will follow, more specifically. Astrologers had all suggested that a boy would be born. Henry put a lot of stock in astrological prediction. Chapuis obviously revelled in this, thought this was hilarious, and he said that all the people were laughing that the astrologers were wrong. Again, we know, take Chapuis with a pinch of salt. Astrology was very much believed at this time. The astrologers wouldn't have been brave enough to have predicted a girl. They just wouldn't have done. Anyway, so a boy was expected. Didn't get a boy. Not a huge disappointment, but not a big celebration. This baby Elizabeth is now above Mary in the line of succession to the throne. And then we've got her baptism on the 10th of September, 3 days later. And I love a royal baptism because you get to meet lots of different people. So I'm going to read those out for you anyway. They processed from the Great Hall at Greenwich to a carpet of green rushes, the Church of the Observant Friars, which is their usual haunt for this sort of thing. Apparently on the way home, because this is autumn, she was escorted by 500 torches. So these are the people that were key players in her baptism. And this baptism was most likely organised by Cromwell. So we've got the Marquess of Exeter, and they carried the taper of virgin wax. That's like a thin candle, and it's often then passed to a godparent, but it's to demonstrate like light and faith in the child's life. So there, Marquis of Exeter is carrying that one. We've got the Duke of Suffolk, who is escorting Elizabeth into the church. We've got Lord Hussey, or Hussey, I'm like with names, who's actually Lady Mary's chamberlain. He's helping to carry the canopy. We've got the Marchioness of Exeter, who's actually Catherine's friend, who didn't want anything to do with this, but didn't want to displease the king. She's acting as godmother, which is a real funny move, isn't it, to put on her. And then we've got Thomas Cranmer, who is acting as godfather. Some key figures there. So there we go. Anne's now a mother, and we've got our future Elizabeth I has been born. So I'll see you tomorrow for day 12, when we're going to be thinking about Anne's downfall. It's just all happened a bit too quick, hasn't it? See you then.